everyone, I'm back again. Today I'll be putting the radius onto the Red Special fingerboard. This is a piece of English oak which I slotted and thickness down to about 6.8 millimeters or something like that. Slotted it on the table saw, which I will show you later the way I completed that job. I will be using a hand plane just to get it down closer to where I need it to sort of start the radius off. Then I'll be finishing it off with this radius block. So I've got the plane set really fine, so there's not too much blade sticking out. I've got this fingerboard stuck down to this piece of pine double-sided tape and some wedges here to stop it from moving, timber wedges. Just check. Just be wary when you do this, because at this end it's much narrower than this end, and you'll get down to the radius you need quicker at this end than at the other end of the guitar, because if you look at this fingerboard, it's 46 mil here and about 53 or whatever at this end. As you plane down the radius or sand down the radius, it's more of a conical formation or a shape. So it'll end up being a little thicker at this end than what it will be here. So just keep an eye on, you'll probably get to the 7.7¼ inch radius at this end a lot sooner than what you will at this other end here. Probably sounds a little confusing, but it's the best way I can describe it at the moment. At this stage, stay away from the centre. I don't have a centre line drawn on here yet, but I will later on. lot more on the treble side. I'm getting there. A lot of patience. Now, you don't want to go too far, because once you've gone too far, you can never come back. Very difficult. At this end, I'm really close. As I come back to the 24 fruit area, it's way off. As I said, any fingerboard, as it goes wider, it's more of a conical shape. It's a bit hard to explain. I'd have to draw a diagram of what I'm talking about. Already down to about 5.5 mil. Yeah, just a few more. Getting pretty close here. At the moment it's more like a 12-inch radius here, and there's probably about a 9, so it's getting closer. A couple of more strokes on this side. You'll have to excuse the dog. This is when I come in with the radius block. The radius block, you need to be careful that you don't start going all over the place. You'll quickly find yourself going so far off the radius that it'll be really hard to come back and correct it later. feel a bit of a hump there. What I do then, I go over it with lead, nice soft pencil lead, some type of HB or whatever, and this is like a guide coat. Clean the sawdust stuck between the pores. This is 80 grit sandpaper. Then by doing this, you can see where the lead disappears. You can see where the low spots are and the high spots. And when you do radius a fingerboard, don't go crazy and thinking it's a big race and you want to get it done as quick as possible, because as soon as you start going crazy like that, you'll start wandering, going side to side, and you'll make a mess of the fingerboard. So this really gentle, taking it nice and easy. Make sure your sandpaper is new. Make sure it cuts so it feels sharp on to the touch. If you use dull sandpaper, you're going to work twice as hard and achieve very little. The sandpaper doesn't cost much, so it's well worth putting a fresh piece on when you commence the initial sanding of the fingerboard. Now, you could do this whole method using that, but it'll take you a long time. I always sort of use this hand plane, give me a head start. I have about 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago, I made this contraption. It's like a cradle where you attach the fingerboard to that and use a router, and the router sits on a sled, and these guides or these wheels move along on a radius block on either end, which in this case I've got the 7 1/4 inch radius blocks in this. I used to use this, but I just find doing it this way with a hand plane is just as effective and probably not as fast, but as you can see, I spent 10 minutes planing it, and I'm roughly down to where I need to be. Oh, that's already fairly close. Of course, the next step will be drawing a center line in and marking out for the position for the dots, fretboard dots. See how close I'm getting here. As the pencil starts to wear down, you can see where it's high and where it's low by how much pencil lead is left behind. Now at the ends it's roughly about 5.25 millimeters at either end and 5 millimeters at this end, at the end of the radius. And in the center, probably close to 6.5 millimeters. I'll get it a bit closer. This is one of the most important parts of building this type of guitar, or any guitar. It doesn't really matter which guitar it is. The principle's the same. The more accurate you are with this radiusing the fingerboard, the easier it will be to finish the guitar and fret it, and the playability of the guitar will be much better. The feel needs to come down. A smidgen. Probably about 1/8 of a millimeter. Really not much in it at all. Thing is with the 7 1/4 inch radius, one thing you need to be careful of, you don't want to go further than 7 1/4. You don't want a 7 inch or 6 1/2 inch radius, because it makes it really difficult to play the guitar. The more abrupt radius you have, the harder it is to pull off nice big bends when you're playing, because you'll end up having to have a higher action, or else the notes will choke out towards the center of the fingerboard. Now I've got this light here, LED light, which I can see in daylight. Use it as a handy tool to see there's any light coming through under the radius. The lighting is very important. Anyway, next video I'll be marking out and drilling for the pearl dots. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed this video.